Anybody else got a project that we can analyze before we go to lunch? You got one? What you got?
187 acres.
187 acres. I'm getting sick of land.
Well, it's got a facility on it.
Okay, 187 acres. Got it?
1.5 million asking.
Asking 1.5, 1,500,000. All righty. Hey, what do we know before we go any further?
It's $8,000 an acre.
Pretty cheap land, isn't it? Yeah. Assuming it's in civilization. Is it in civilization?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What's the current use of this land? Agricultural or farmland, or what is it?
Well, agricultural and a senior living, R1.
Current use.
Well, it's vacant.
Oh, has it got a building on it?
8,800 square feet plus 2 cottages and some stuff.
8,800 square foot building?
Assisted living facility.
ACLF. Woo. Okay, what else has it got?
2 cottages.
2 cottages.
A barn. 2 horse stables.
Whoa, a barn. 2 stables.
10 acres of meadows.
10 acres of meadows, which is part of the 187. And
in-ground swimming pool.
And a pool. That takes off 20 grand.
Several small boats.
Several small what?
Boats.
Boats.
Because it has a 16-acre lake.
Oh, it's got a 16-acre lake.
That's in the property, on the property.
Okay, that's a good-sized lake.
10 acres of fishing. It's 10 of the 16 acres you can fish on. I don't know about what that means. It's deep.
It's got fish.
Okay. I was wondering how you keep the fish out of the other 6 acres.
I don't know. I thought I'd make that comment. You tell me how.
I don't know.
Fish.
We're going to forget about all that.
Okay.
Let me see where this thing is.
167 acres are wooded.
How much is wooded?
167, 90%. That comes up to 90%.
Okay, so it's mostly wooded. Okay.
20 acres aren't, and it's $120,000 timber.
Oh, there's $120,000 worth of timber on it, which, frankly, I'd probably leave on it. You know, when you go whacking down trees, you make properties ugly. And you know why I'd probably leave them? Is this timber hardwood or ugly pines or what is it? You know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
see,
let me look.
If I were going to build anything on here, you guys know how easy it is to move trees around? Anybody ever move trees? Well, I just happen to have a lot of experience in that with my 10 acres that I've done where I live. They bring this great big truck in there and it's got these big fingers on it. Now, seriously, they back the truck around the tree and they hit the hydraulics. It goes, whoo! Then they lift the tree right out of the ground. They tip it over. They move it someplace else where another hole has been dug already. They drop it and there it's done. It's pathetically simple for them to move trees. Now, for us, it'd take us 3 weeks to dig it up, move it, wouldn't it? I'm telling you, it takes them approximately 5 minutes to back up to a tree and have it on the truck. Zoom, zoom, boom. Great big hydraulic fingers. I mean, they're huge. Easy to move trees. Okay?
And they do have
they've already got some of it platted even.
It's not platted. This is
that's the whole property.
Engineer that gave.
Okay, well, I want to know is how do they want their money? Has anybody asked them?
They will hold some seller financing, but I don't.
But you don't know anything about it. Okay, what's the best use of this property?
I would say the facility and single family.
A single family development?
On the 167 acres.
On 167. Is there any commercial around it anywhere?
It's 6 Sears and some other.
There's some industrial. How far away?
2 miles.
2 miles. Do you know? Is there any chance of putting commercial property or commercial buildings on this property? Is it conducive of that? You don't know.
I wouldn't think so.
How much road frontage has got?
I don't remember. It's all these roads. Here's the roads.
Okay, and this is the whole property right there.
Yep.
Right? 2-bedroom homes selling for $139,000 to $230,000. 3 to 4 bedroom homes selling for $175,000 to $300,000. All right. Does anybody have any idea what this property is worth if we were to do some kind of development project?
That's the bottom one.
Huh?
Right here.
What do you think? You think it's worth
just
what?
Just the land.
Yeah.
I came up with 7.95,
$8 million.
Well, that's only for 30 lots of the 42 that are proposed.
Okay.
And it doesn't include the assisted living part, the 20 acres.
So you think this land is worth, this property is going to be worth, with a little bit of work on it, somewhere between $8 and $100 million?
I don't know about facilities and stables and stuff like that.
Okay, is it safe to assume that it's going to be worth many times what we're paying for it? Okay, everybody see that? In fact, is it safe to assume that with just this facility on there and all these goodies on here, that she's stealing this property if she don't do anything but leave it as a 187-acre farm for somebody? You think? In fact, is this ACLF still licensed and is it operating?
No, they closed it down 2 years ago. They operated it for 17 years.
Why'd they close it down?
They want to move to Myrtle Beach with their grandkids. They're retiring.
That's a dumb move. All right. Can it be reopened as an ACLF,
Yes.
though?
Yes, the city actually has agreed to teach whoever you want. If you'll give them jobs, they're doing a 40-hour class for free to run the seniors.
You guys know what an
facility.
ACLF is? It's assisted living. It's where they don't need a nurse, but they need somebody to do their laundry and, check on them and babysit them and things. And, in other words, it's not a nursing home, but it's close.
Right. And it's $3,000 a head, which is $48,000 a month.
A month, right?
A month.
It's $3,000 per person per month, and it's 8,800 square feet. And in most areas, you can put 2 persons in a room if you wanted to.
Yes. Well, this one is a maximum up to 22 residents.
So it'll take 22 residents max times $3,000 a month. That's $66,000 a month coming in on this baby.
But it ran on 16, so that was $48,000 a month.
Not
$576 for
not
the
if I'm
year.
running it.
Oh, not if you're. That's $576 for the year.
Okay. Anyway, this alone is a business within this business, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. So we got to find somebody who wants to run one of those babies and lease that out to them, right?
Someone here just gave me a card.
Okay. Well, it ain't hard to find somebody who wants to run one of those. It truly is a cash cow. It's like printing money. Now, is this building on the same, property as these cottages and these stables and these barns and so forth?
Yes.
So is this all going to stay together as a package type of thing?
What do you mean? It all comes with these.
I understand, but are these buildings close to that building?
No, I don't know that. I don't know how close in proximity.
Okay, what I'm
they
thinking
are.
about is just cutting off whatever track that these things are on, and possibly even selling that off as a total package. You see, probably for 2 or 3 times what you're paying for the whole property. You understand what I'm
It sits
getting?
on 3.5 acres. All of those
All this junk?
all of that.
That's what I
sits
wanna
on
know.
3.5,
Okay.
3.49 acres on the west side of the lake.
3.5 acres.
Yes.
Okay, so I bet you that parcel right there is probably worth, I don't know, I'm just guessing, at least $3 million by itself, especially if that's operating. If that's operating, it's easily worth $3 million. In fact, probably a lot more. So the point is this. It looks like we can separate out that chunk and more than pay for the whole property, can't we?
Yes.
So it looks like a way to get 3 acres free and clear to me. What do you think? Okay. Low-hanging fruit. Thank you very much. So, based on that, all we got to do is figure out how to come up with $1.5 million, huh?
Yeah, which you showed us yesterday.
It did? How are you going to do it?
Take part of the land, pre-sell some lots of the 160.
Well, wait a minute now. You're not going to
187.
pre-sell lots and get the cash to use to close this deal.
Okay.
Remember, you can't sell lots that don't have infrastructure in yet. You can only take orders for them. You
a bridge loan. What I had said $500,000.
Tell me how you're going to buy it first.
Okay, 50 cash down.
Oh, $50,000. You going to give them a price?
I'm gonna give them what they pretty close to what they want. I said 1.3.
Well, that ain't close.
That's close.
Okay, 1.3, and you're going to give them $50,000 down.
Yes, 60-day due diligence.
60-day due diligence, okay. And how are you going to pay them the rest?
Raise the capital from the assisted living facility, which they have to
What's
release.
the terms of the note you're putting in your LOI? How are you going to pay the rest?
I had $500,000 cash at close, but you want to know where I'm getting the $500,000? Okay.
You just told me you're putting $50,000 down. Did you mean a $50,000 deposit?
Yeah.
Why?
To take
That's
it.
way too much for $1 million deal.
That's what, in speaking with the broker yesterday, I got this deal last night, so
Oh.
I spent 7 hours researching and talking with the broker and
you're
all
just
that.
making the rest up as you go, aren't you? Huh?
No, I did. This is what I
So you're
wrote.
telling me the broker wants a $50,000 deposit?
Yeah, we don't
The seller
know what
don't.
the
The broker
wants.
does.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, okay.
We don't know what the seller
All right.
wants.
Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to offer him $25,000 deposit. I'm assuming you are going to need a partner on this.
Yeah, I want a 50% partner, not a 75% partner. Please help me.
You're pretty cocky, aren't you?
No. I'll work.
Well, sorry. The only way you're going to get 50% out of me is if you put up that money and I don't have to borrow any.
I will put up the $25,000.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Then you're in. And, of course, that means you got to do all this stuff.
All of
Whatever it takes.
what do you?
You got to
wanna
do what I tell you to do.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. I don't have any problems with that. Whatever you tell me to do, I'll do.
I'm not sure that's true.
To a certain extent.
You know, if you're this big of a problem going in, how are you going to be later? Making the rules already, ain't she? Huh?
I'm coachable.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, we've got to figure out how you're going to tell the seller you're going to pay her the rest of the money. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
I don't see a problem with getting a loan.
Oh, how much are you going to give her down, though? You said deposit. Did you figure out a down payment? Don't you think $500,000 is a little more than we should offer down?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What do
No,
you
that
think?
was closed. That was closing and her holding financing on the balance.
I hear you, but that's a down payment, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is.
Okay. So how much
Okay.
should we give her down? Remember, the less cash you give her down, the easier it is to raise the money.
Maybe she wants to buy. They want to buy the house in Myrtle Beach. That's the biggest
much is
thing
that?
they want. I don't know. That's what he's got to find out. I asked him to find out how much the house is that they're trying to buy.
Well, then why don't we offer them $225,000 more at closing?
Okay.
This is a deposit here, and that's a down payment. Okay?
Okay.
And then we'll offer the rest of it. That's $250,000, isn't it?
Yes.
That means
Yes.
we'll owe them $1,050,000, and we'll give them a 2-year balloon with no payments and no interest.
Okay.
And we'll promise them a $250,000 payment at a 1-year anniversary. The balance due within 2 years.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, you got to ask yourself, how are you going to get the $250,000? And what's the answer? You got to borrow it.
Right.
So now, how are we going to structure it so we can borrow the $250,000 and feel real safe that we can get it real easy plus some?
They have to give up release part of the property.
Correct.
Yes.
Now, this one's easy. I want their loan, I want the seller's loan on the 183 acres.
Right. Okay.
Because now I got a real easy time borrowing money on that property right there. In fact, how much am I putting down? What percentage? Let's see.
You're putting down 20.
2.5, about 20%?
About 20%.
Yeah, 20% down. So I want 20% of the property free and clear.
That's what I had here.
And I want this as part of the 20%.
20%. They close. Okay.
Okay? Now I want you to write this LOI up and let me take a look at it.
Okay.
And don't worry, you'll screw it up and I'll
Of
fix
course.
it. All right.
So that's $25,000
Deposit.
deposit, $225,000
Down.
at closing,
Additional.
additional
Yeah.
at closing.
Yep.
What's the due diligence period you
What do
need?
you want it to be?
I had 60 days. For this.
60 days is fine.
Okay.
And 30 days to close, right?
And 30 days to close.
Got it?
That's it.
Okay.
$225 in a year.
I want to hear the wording, okay? $225,000 in a year.
In a year with,
And the balance due within
Balance.
at the
Due in the
anniversary of the
additional.
second year. No payments, no interest in the meantime.
okay. And 20% of, what is the verbiage for the 20% you request?
This is what I wanted to see you struggle with.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. We got to make it clear
What we want.
that we don't know what this mess is worth. So we're probably going to need more than the 3.5 acres because this ain't going to appraise. I don't think this is going to appraise, as is
Right.
vacant and all that for.
Center it on that property and have it surveyed.
Yeah. So you got to tell the seller. I'll tell you what to tell the seller. I don't know what to tell the seller. What do you guys think?
Want to be negotiated
What
later.
the hell I want the lake for? Lake's worthless.
Ron, when you want
Huh?
it to be negotiated later, the release to be negotiated later, get it under contract.
Well, yeah, but I got to put something in the LOI. We can name exact property later, but I got to put something in the LOI. I'll tell you what we're going to put in the LOI. We're going to make it simple. Buyer will require some property released at closing in lieu of down payment to be determined during due diligence period. Let's see if we can get past this hurdle first, and then we can argue about that when we have mentally got the property sold in her brain.
I will require something.
The buyer will require some property released at closing in lieu of down payment to be determined during due diligence period between buyer and seller.
Is it in lieu or in consideration?
In consideration of whatever. Yes?
This timber, this $120,000 worth of timber,
Yes?
if it's hardwood, and if
Yes.
it's good hardwood,
Yes?
it's not going to be clear cut. They're going to go in there and selectively cut those.
That's what he said.
So after that selective harvesting has been accomplished, the land is going to look very park-like. And I would think that you might want to do what you had advised us in other courses, which is somehow record a memorandum, because that timber, that standing timber, is part of the realty.
What are you talking about? They're not going to cut the timber off this property while we're in contract. Any contract will cover that.
As long as you've got that recorded.
And I'm not going to cut it after we buy the property. It ain't worth it. $120,000 worth of timber on there is not worth defacing the property to cut it, most likely. Of course, it would be good if we looked at this property first to make said decision. But I'm ignoring the timbers on the property. I'm not assuming we're going to sell off that $120,000 worth of timber. And I'm not worried about them cutting it off. Any decent commercial property contract will say, you don't mess with property while it's in contract. You keep managing it the same way it is. They go cut the timber off while we're under contract, obviously, it could kill the whole deal, and they'll know it. Okay?
Yep.
Next question. How'd you find it?
Well, I left class yesterday and I spent 7 hours researching online.
You found it online?
In a newspaper, online newspaper classified section.
Okay. Thank you very much. You did good. No, I'm not even going to tell you the state. It's on the eastern half of the country. Yeah. Close as you get. Nice job. Now, who's got a deal we want to talk about now? This time you guys are going to do a lot more work than you've been doing getting these things ready to go. You got one? All right. Come on up, Dave. Is this a good deal or is this one of them crappy deals?
Actually, we have two.
Well, we'll see if you're going to get to the second one based on the first one.
The first one is 364 acres.
364 acres. Got it. Well, what's the asking price?
$6 million.
What's the first four things I always want to know? Asking, are, loan, and repairs. In this case, repairs is what we think it's going to cost to get it, whatever we want to do with it. Okay, asking is how much?
$6 million.
How much is that per acre?
16.4.
How much?
16.4.
16.4 per acre. Okie dokie. And what's on this property? Anything?
It's zoned industrial
Oh,
manufacturing,
you got to be kidding! The whole thing?
and it's the first phase of 1,450 acres.
It's zoned industrial. Okay, is there civilization around it?
Oh, yes.
It's on the main arterial highway, about a quarter of a mile from the main highway, with a railroad spur ready to go in from Burlington.
Okay, is there anything? Are there any buildings on it at all?
No,
How much of it is high and dry?
all of it.
All of it. And how much road frontage?
Well, about 50% approximately.
You got to be kidding.
There's a plot plan right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say 50%, but that's a pretty good chunk, ain't it? Okay, road frontage? A lot. Yeah. Okay, and have you talked to anybody about owner financing short term?
Yes, they'll go 50% owner financing. Based
So
on-
really what they want is $3 million down. Okay. What do you think the property would appraise for as is? Where is, Dave?
I don't have a definitive answer on that because I got this Wednesday before we left. And the day I left, the broker said there was an offer pending on it.
Uh-oh. They always say that.
2 lawyers in Beverly Hills. That's why I brought it in.
Well, I got to have some kind of idea what the land is worth so I can figure out what you could borrow on it and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I know acreage there is going for about $35,000 to $40,000 an acre,
Zoned industrial?
Residential.
residential,
So which is worth more, residential acreage or industrial acreage?
industrial.
Can you give me a guess as to what you think this thing is worth?
I honestly can't. I cannot. I do not have.
So what do you want me to do with it? I know. We'll make it up. Because there's no place else to get it, is there? Unless you get on the phone, call that broker and ask him.
We know that the square footage, though, is 275 to 375 a square. Yeah, 275 to 375 a square foot,
How do you know this?
because that's what they go for offers.
Okay, so you're telling me that you think this property will sell for $2 to $3.75 per square foot,
Correct.
zoned industrial.
Yes.
Well, then that's the R.
That's the R.
Okay, if that's true, how do I know that's true? Because that's pretty high.
Yeah, well, that's what it's. That's what both of them are.
Okay, then you get out your trusty, dusty calculator. 59 million? Yeah, somebody's full of crap somewhere. Well, what that means, though, is the front part of it here probably will go for that. The back part of it's going to go for considerably less. This is your most valuable part right here out on the road here like this. However, you put roads back here and all of a sudden this becomes valuable as well. The truth is, it looks like it's a pretty good buy, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Just based on what we know? Because if it were worth $2 and how much, what'd you figure that at? Well, how many square feet's in an acre, class?
3,560.
Okay, so what's it worth by the acre? 100 grand. Worth 100 grand an acre.
I've got that here.
No, they've got that.
Can't be worth 100 grand an acre. That's way too much money. I'm wondering why they're selling it so cheap.
Progress, and they're starting.
What kind of seller do we have here?
It's in an LLC, and they're actually getting out of a whole bunch of holdings.
Retiring.
I talked to the owner.
Retiring, huh?
So he said.
That's a good thing. So, do your senses and your research tell you that we got several times the value than they're asking?
Yes.
Okay. All right, class. This is yours. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to figure out what you're going to do with this parcel. Now, I'm going to tell you what most of you are going to do with it. What would the answer be? No, what the answer is nothing. Because that's the easiest thing to do with all of these deals, isn't it?
Nothing.
But how big of checks do we get when we do nothing? Besides, where on earth am I going to get $3 million down And there's so many zeros here, it just scares the snot out of me, and I don't know if I could sleep at night if I got, Besides, these people are so smart, I'd feel so stupid talking to them. But I'm sure that's not applied to anybody in this room, does it? Okay. What am I going to offer? How am I going to offer it? How am I going to raise the money? What am I going to offer? How am I going to offer it? How am I going to raise the money? And then what am I going to do when I buy it? And you may talk to your neighbors. You may put together a program. You may create an offer. What are you going to offer? How are you going to offer it? How are you going to raise the money? And I want to know that it makes sense. And then what's your exit strategy once you raise the money? What do you plan on doing with this? And I want you thinking through the holding time too. How are we going to pay for it while we're holding it? Then don't say Ron. Would you submit the offer you just wrote, Steve?
I wouldn't even want it personally. This looks like oversupply of industrial land wherever it's at.
Steve says he wouldn't want it. It looks like oversupply of industrial land wherever it's at. How would you know if you don't even know where it's at?
Well, that's true. We need to know. We don't have a lot of facts.
Sorry, I can't give you that information. That's correct.
What does it matter?
That is correct. Well said, Jill. So the stinker brain of Save Praiser is trying to kill this deal with the limited facts that he's got without even... How much money are you going to make with that attitude, with that mindset? You guys should be working to make the deal, not kill the deal. Yeah. What would you do? And if I don't like your offer, I'm never going to do business with you again.
Yeah, right. You haven't yet.
Oh, shut up and give me the offer. All right, what's the deal?
All right. According to what he has there, he take 250 acres times the $2 per square foot will give him $21,780,000 priced at value.
Okay,
now,
$22 million. Now, where'd you get 250 from? You just pulled that out of thin air or what?
No, he wants the 250 acres out of the 364. Because that's all he needs, because he can take hard money at 30% and it'll come down to $6,334,000.
Oh, I see. So you want $21 million worth of land to borrow $6 million on?
Yeah.
But why on earth would I borrow $6 million when they're only asking for $3 million down?
But he's going to take the $3 million down and pay a year in advance. He still has $2 million to do his building and improve the property.
Okay, so you want to borrow the money to buy it and develop at least part of it up from the front end.
Correct.
Well, of course, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? No. But
and it gives him 114 extra acres free and clear.
So really, then, what you're going to ask the seller to do is subordinate a $3 million owner finance to new financing for $6 million.
He's going to borrow $6 million.
Okay. So you got a $6 million first, and
right.
The seller carry back second for $3 million.
Right. And he's going to take and...
I got it. I hear you.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to turn this around. You're the seller. I'm making you this offer.
Okay.
How do you feel about it?
Well...
There's a $6 million first ahead of your $3 million second.
Mm-hmm. But the property value is such that you got
Not
equity.
to the seller, or they wouldn't be asking any more than $6 million.
Yeah. That's just tough luck.
He tried, though. Hey, how do you know the seller wouldn't take his offer? We don't, do we? Well, don't we have to at least analyze what it looks like to the other side before we go firing out offers? Now, I could build some safety gaps in that offer to make the seller feel more comfortable. I could say, I'm going to borrow $6 million, but I'm going to put $3 million in escrow, and if your attorney wants to oversee it to make sure it gets released as the development occurs, then I can live with that. Now that ought to make them feel better, because as the money's released, of course, the value is going up, and their $3 million is even more protected. And there's nothing wrong with that offer based on that. Nothing. Of course, that's based on getting a $20 million appraisal on the property. And we don't know where we're at. We don't know for sure there's a deal until we actually do get it appraised. All right, anybody else have another option? Assuming the land is worth probably $50,000 an acre minimum, which I'm just guessing, but industrial land doesn't go cheap. Go ahead.
I had another idea. Asking price is about 16,000 per acre.
Yeah.
The value of the whole thing after development is about 50 million, which is 140,000 an acre.
Where did we get that number from? 40,000
Well,
an
I
acre?
used about 3 foot, I think, per square foot.
15 million or 50 million?
50.
Okay, all right. So what's your offer?
Anyway, the idea is to, anyway, the price per acre is very high after development. So the appraisal price as is, I don't know what it can be. Could be $30,000 or $50,000 per acre.
Correct, and we're assuming it is that, aren't we?
That is an assumption.
In fact, if it isn't that, we probably don't want to buy this deal, do we?
Yeah, right, but we have to find
Okay,
out.
so if it is that, in simplistic terms, if the property is worth $35,000, $40,000 an acre and they're asking 16, can we always borrow enough on it to get it bought for whatever portion of it we want to pay for?
No, my idea is then to free a certain acreage on the basis of the of say
All right.
$30,000 to $50,000 dollars.
All right, so how am I going to raise the $3 million? What am I going to borrow against?
Well, the idea is, I don't know, this is maybe innovative, but I've seen countries where, even here, there is a lot of land speculation. So what if you set an area aside on the basis of, say, $30,000 per acre, and you subdivide that, and you have an agreement with the seller that before closing you have an auction, and you sell it to speculators?
I'd say that's a pretty speculative offer. You got some real problems with that one.
Speculative idea.
Number one, who's going to put the money in the property to get it to the point to where you can sell it at an auction? Ain't going to be you because you don't own the property.
The seller would have to agree, of course.
Oh,
with that.
sure. We got a seller here that wants to sell because they don't want to mess with his property. And we're going to go ask them to do the development.
Well, you don't mess with it. Or just on the map you subdivide.
That offer ain't going to fly. That ain't going to fly. That's not a realistic offer. Look, if you guys want to buy property, you better start thinking simpler. Simple, 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 simple. Not those convoluted offers like that mess. Look, all you got to know is if I offer them 6 and I give them 3, how am I going to get to 3? There's only 2 or 3 ways to do it. First way, get them to subordinate to the whole new first loan, isn't there? Second way, borrow 3, cut off a piece of land, and get it free when you buy the property, and hopefully its course is worth more than 6. That's it. Why got to work so hard? That's it. So now you just got to decide how you want to write the LOI. In fact, is it probably easier to get the split off, give me this land free accepted than the subordination? Yes. So you probably want to go for that first, wouldn't you? So now you just got to ask yourself, I want about, $7-8 million worth of property free and clear at closing so I can put a new first mortgage on it. And then you've got to say, well, about how much of that property is it going to take to make it worth $7 or $8 million based on my best guess is the value per acre. And if we're saying it's worth $40,000 an acre, how much is that? 7 million divided by 40,000 is how much? How many acres? 175 acres. Okay, so is it fair then to ask for 175 acres free and clear for half the money down? I'd say we ought to ask for about 200 acres, or 150, 60, 70, 80, about 182 acres, wouldn't you? I'm giving you half the money, I want the half of your property. Simple. See, everybody can understand that. Now you decide which half of the property you want during the due diligence phase, and you come to a reasonable conclusion, or you don't. Is that so hard? Yes.
Ron, my thought process on it was if the value was still there, why not just offer him $4.8 million all cash? If he comes back with a counteroffer, take it, basically whatever it is, and then use a portion of the property to raise $6 million to pay off the 4.8 and do a little bit of development to get it.
You could do that. But remember what I said about the more seller financing, the better. The less cash up front we need, the better.
But isn't this more simple?
It's more simple.
And it could be
but it's also more money you got to raise and more expensive.
$1.2 million or a $1 million.
Well, who says we can't offer them less than $6 million and still do the split deal?
True.
In fact, should we? It's only the right thing to do. I mean, you got to offer them less. Okay. Either way, the numbers are the same. You just lower the price and then do your division is all right. Okay. All right. So we got that one nailed. How many of you even come close to having a legitimate way of buying this property written down? Uh-huh.
Yes, we did.
Did you? Okay. How many of you don't feel like you were even in the ballpark on that deal? One. How many of you feel like a return to this boot camp is definitely in your future? Okay, David, do you have another one before we move on? There you are. Got another one? Yeah. Okay. Give me something besides vacant land. I'm sick of land. Who's got something with a building on it?
87 acres next to an airport.
Next to an airport?
A jet airport.
A jet airport. Okay, come on up. We'll have to look at this one. How long's the runway?
15,000 feet.
Oh my God, that's a long runway. Man, that'll land anything that flies.
It's the largest commercial, longest runway in the United States, I believe.
No kidding, I believe it.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a runway that long. They're not that long at O'Hare.
It's an old air base, yeah.
In fact, only
with extensions.
13,000 feet at O'Hare or something like that. All right. What you got? How many acres?
87 acres.
87 acres.
1.9 million.
Wow. 1.9 million is the asking price.
Same seller.
What's the zone? Oh, same seller.
Same seller.
Oh. Well, you didn't tell me that.
Well, you didn't ask.
Okay. I almost threw you away, she says. All right. It's the same seller. We're going to make this lady rich. And she ain't going to do us any harm. Okay. What's special about this? You say it's right next to an airport. Does that mean the airport line butts up to your line?
We have pictures.
There's the picture right there.
This will be a yes or no question.
It's right.
Okay.
There's the airport. And there's the
what buildings are around this area beside the... I assume this is a private airport?
No, it's hundreds of thousands of industrial property. There's currently 400.
Is this the city airport or a private corporate airport?
It's owned by a city.
It's the city airport that people fly into this city on. Commercially, okay. And
you couldn't land there.
Why couldn't I land there? I can't land there. This deal's off. So is the yellow our property?
Yes.
So it's divided up. It's not all contiguous.
There's bigger pictures of the building.
Huh?
I have other pictures.
Okay. What buildings are around the vicinity? I assume there's commercial development right here, right?
Yeah. Here's the airport right here.
You know, like the warehouse buildings, the storage buildings, the FedEx buildings, and all that kind of stuff? Like you see around any airport?
They've got 400 jet aircraft currently being redeveloped and repainted and fixed.
So they fix and paint and do aircraft
That's just
on
part
site.
of the industrial complex there.
Okay. On our property, are there any buildings whatsoever?
No.
None?
None.
All right. And is there a road? How much road frontage do we have on this property?
There's a bigger picture in the phone call.
Okay, so there's road frontage there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some road frontage?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think the best use of this property is?
Industrial warehousing.
Is there anything else that might come to mind that would be structured on this property? How about
maybe another federal prison?
Federal prison?
There's 3 right there. Hotel deluxe.
How about, do you know how far you can go up?
Well, the latest hotel that's built there is 7 stories. It houses 1,000 guests.
So you do have a hotel there?
It's a prison.
Well, hey, you don't have to worry about your occupancy rate. You think about it, that's all a prison is a hotel. Government pays the room rate, that's all. Okay, well, does it make sense to put a hotel there since it's right beside the airport?
Possibly. I mean, as a real hotel?
Yeah.
Quite possibly, yes.
You know, the kind of people actually... yeah, the kind of people freely move in and out of, you know. All right. Okay, well, what do you think this acreage is worth as industrial land, just as it's zoned for now?
Probably about 8 million, my calculated guess.
Based on what?
Square footage.
Why are they selling it so cheap?
I don't ask.
Well, you know, isn't that what everybody wants to know? Isn't that what we're constantly asking ourselves? And I'd ask myself that too, and then I got to go back over all these deals that we bought, and geez, the same thing applies to every one of them. Every single one of them.
Do you think it's
I think it's somebody who doesn't care a lick. They want to get rid of the property. They're not going to do anything with the property no matter what it's worth. And they are probably misinformed by whomever is selling it or helping them on what its true value is. It could be that we're misinformed. But I have a hard time believing that 87 acres sitting right beside an airport ain't worth many times more than a lousy $1.9 million. Especially with a runway that's 15,000 feet long. Do you guys know that that's almost a 3-mile runway? You could land the Concorde on that runway. This property is not, it's beside the runway, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's right over here.
Yeah? And where's the runway? Right there?
Here. Here's the runway.
Yeah, it's right down beside it. I mean, you know, a little off to the side, but down beside the runway. It's perfect for industrial. Perfect. Okay. Well, geez, it looks just like the last one. What to do, what to do? Let me know when you get the answer. She will take seller financing, right?
50%.
50%. Well, I'll tell you what, if we want one of these, we want them both, don't we?
Absolutely. 2 for 1.
So let's just combine these two offers together and make one offer. I'll really tax you guys' brain. Huh? Tell you what, we're going to be a major influence in this town, aren't we? We're going to send instructions to the mayor as to what, when we want him to come to work and when he can go home. You know? All right, here's your deal, guys. You got 2 pieces of property. One of them's 1.9 asking, one of them's $6 million asking. So you got a $7.9 million asking price. Now, you might as well go ahead and structure an offer to buy both of them.
There's city tax credits available too, by the way.
City tax credits meaning what?
Developing.
Developing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think this is a development-prone type community that wants to see this thing developed?
Yeah, it's massive, actually.
Massive?
Yes.
All kinds of goodies come along with this, don't they? Okay. All right. Class. You'd be a whole lot more aggressive if this was your deal. Put something down. I want to structure an offer to buy both of these properties. Sign up now. When you buy all the property a seller's got like this, do you deserve a discount? Okay, so the first thing you want to ask yourself is how much are you going to offer for both of these properties combined and get this lady out of the property business and into the money business? And then I think, of course, how you raise the money is pretty evident by now, isn't it? And tomorrow we'll talk about exit strategies more. So you tell me. Go ahead and take a couple minutes and tell me what you're going to do.
If we're going to put this together as a package deal, like you said, we're going to be doing a seller some sort of a favor here.
Yes.
I'd offer him as a package, $6.5 million. $3 million's down. I want the 87 acres free and
Wait a
clear.
minute. How much down? $3 million down?
$3 million down.
All right.
And then I want the 87 acres free and clear at closing.
Okay.
And I want probably
Well,
90.
that should be an easy no-brainer if she's only asking 1.9 for it.
No, for a package, the 6 and the 1.9.
I hear you. She shouldn't have any trouble giving you the 87 acres free and clear for a $3 million down if she's only asking 1.9 for it to begin with. Okay. How are you going to get the $3 million?
I can borrow it on the 87 acres.
Assuming it's worth how much?
$8 million. Yeah. And then we still got plenty of money to do whatever we want to with the property.
I love it. Simple. I love it. Except one more thing. Give me the exact language you're going to put on the LOI. He thought he got off that one.
I just gave you the terms. $6.5 million total purchase price.
You did.
$3 million down.
You did.
A
It's just the last
$50,000
paragraph I'm fishing for, you know. The last paragraph that makes the seller know that she's going to give us the 87 acres free and clear. By the way, how much of a deposit is going to offer?
$50,000.
$50,000. All right. Due diligence?
I'd like to have 90 days because that's next to the airport.
It's a fair offer. Closing?
30 days.
Thereafter.
Yes.
Fair offer. Paragraph in the LOI. You know, while he's over here sweating, you guys might want to be asking yourself the same thing.
Is this one you're talking
What are you going
about?
to write on that bottom paragraph? The paragraph that tells the sellers that you're getting the 87 acres free and clear when you close. No, this is beautiful. This is easy. He don't even need to determine it later. He can determine it now because it's so simple.
Upon closing, the seller will release 87 acres free and clear. Is that?
Yeah, or parcel whatever. She's right.
Parcel.
Upon closing, seller will release parcel 1, parentheses, 87 acres, and seller's mortgage will be collateralized by the whatever, however many acres the other parcel is.
We don't need to get tied up in,
That's
identifying the 87 acres legally or not.
Yes, you
just
do.
As long as she knows.
Yes, you do.
Oh, so it'd
Not,
have to be.
not a legal description. You just need to let the seller know in easy, simple terms that you're
It's
getting the
the
87
airport.
acres in lieu of the $3 million down payment. Or in, not in lieu of it, I guess, in consideration of it. You're right. Good, very good.
Ron, how much excess money is available to service the debt?
How much excess money is available to service what debt? Well, it depends on what it appraises for, doesn't it, and how much he borrows. You are going to borrow more than $3 million, aren't you?
The right of first refusal or whatever.
You'd throw in a right of first refusal for what?
On all the other subsequent plans, because they've got.
On all the subsequent plans for what?
They have
many
four,
different.
they have
Yeah, see, look here.
1,450.
Oh, now she's got more land.
See, look what it's got here.
So I have that right of refusal.
1,450, but the first phase is 364.
That's just the first phase.
So we want to have first.
Oh my God.
Now all of a sudden, we've turned up another 1,000 acres as this lady's got. You know what? I think you ought to start with these two. Bite this one off first and get the due diligence done, but it would not hurt to have an option to buy the other ones. It would not hurt to throw that in. That's probably a very smart move, Paula. And it's not first right of refusal, it's an option. Yeah. I'll buy these two, and I want an option to purchase the other remaining parcels for at least 6 months. At least 6 months as part of the offer for the price they're asking.
I learned that from my papa.
You learned it from your papa. Okay. I would not offer any consideration for the option. It would be the same consideration I'm offering on this contract to buy it. That's why it's best to package it in right now. The consideration is that I'm buying these two, and I want the option as part of that offer. It might make it more attractive. It might make it less attractive because she might think, well, they're going to stop me from selling the rest of these parcels. And it may be something that you have to give up. You'll find out quickly when you ask, don't you? They might figure it's worth more after I start development. Shoot, she might even die before she gets the offer. I don't know. What if? We could go on forever, couldn't we? How do you get the machine rolling? Get the LOI prepared as simply as it is. Fax it in and let nature take its course. And don't lay up, don't sit around waiting on it. Don't shut down your life. Don't quit eating. Don't quit going to the movies. Don't quit doing the same thing you're doing. Don't quit buying houses. Wait on the offer. Try to get it out of your mind. So don't destroy everything you do. And go about your life. If you currently have a sex life, double it. How'd you find that? How'd you find that, Dave?
We called a lot of brokers in town, and we found out that every broker has like a hip pocket listing. And so we researched a little bit and found this particular one who's the best in town, and we went to visit her.
And this is where you live too, and we might add. It's where they live. So they're going to finish this deal up if we get anything bought. Pretty soon, they are going to be big players in their community. And you want me as a partner? I will consider it. I'll have to take your application and send it to the approval committee. Who's got something that's not land? Got an analysis of what? Well, let me get him. Come on, man. Come on. Hotel condo. Let's get something sexy up here. It's ugly old land. Okay, what do we got here?
I have to admit, after hearing a lot of the deals that come across here, this one's pretty small compared by comparison.
That's okay. We need to talk about a small deal. These are way too big anyway. Nobody's going to believe these things are real. What you got?
Okay, this is a condo hotel. It's actually
condo hotel meaning what?
Well, it's a hotel that is zoned for condos or approved.
Okay, so you're telling me that it's already been approved for condos. Is this somebody's hearsay, or is this a written approval from the city that we can convert it to condos?
They actually have condo docs.
Pardon me?
They have condo docs.
They have condo docs, but do they have approval from the city?
I'm told that they do.
You're told that they do. Good enough. How many units? How many condos are we going to get out of this hotel?
Well, it's a 20 units.
20
4 bedroom,
condos.
4 bath.
20 condos?
20 condos. 4 bedroom, 4 bath.
All righty. 4 bedroom?
4 bedroom, 4 bath condos.
Wow. Okay.
1,728 square feet apiece.
Is this in a sexy area?
It's 10 miles from Disney World.
Okay. Shouldn't have told them that. They'll be out there looking at every hotel all around Disney now, trying to steal a deal from them. You do not know these folks. All right.
Plenty of deals out there, folks.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, so what's the asking price?
2.2.
All righty. How many square feet's in this whole building?
34,560.
Okay. Just for the record, somebody tell me how many dollars per square foot we're paying for that at 2.2.
$78 a square foot.
$78?
Well, I'm telling you 78 because there's $500,000 worth of rehab that needs to be done.
No. How much are we paying for it? It ain't 78. What is it?
Okay, I don't know.
$63 a foot? I can tell you right now, guys, that's cheap or anything in Florida. All right. You say it's $500,000 renovation to turn into condos?
No, it had some hurricane damage, and so it's currently a vacant building.
Well, didn't the seller get insurance money to fix it?
So I did get insurance money. Insurance company estimated $400,000 to $500,000 to rehab.
So where's the money?
Well, it hasn't been distributed yet.
So it's in escrow to repair it.
That's right.
So we don't have to spend the money to repair it. Does the insurance money come with the deal?
It does if you raise the price to $2.7.
Now, what kind of sucky deal is that? So give me, I'll give you $1. Please give me $1 back. What kind of deal is that?
Those are his terms. That's what he's asking. So 2.2 as is, 2.7 rehabbed is basically.
So in other words, he wants you to buy it and rehab it so he can get his $500,000 out of escrow. That's what he wants. And hey, that's a good thing. Factor into our offer. All right, the key is what are these 20 condo units going to sell for when they're done?
Well, right now, this is a zone short-term rental. You can do a lot of fun things. You can make it a timeshare or leave it as a condo.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of different options.
Yeah.
Or leave it as a hotel if you want. Right now, condos are selling for about $140 a square foot in that area.
Okay, so what's that make it worth?
About 240,000 apiece.
So what's that make it worth? You do the math. I don't have a calculator. How much?
$4,838,400.
$5 million.
About $5 million.
All right. Well, how does he want his money?
All cash.
Well, what are we going to do? Is there a loan on it?
Don't know.
Well, you do need to know that, doesn't he? Okay. How you guys feel about this deal? Yeah, you just been looking at two big deals, that's all. I mean, so how do you feel like this deal if you didn't see all those other big things we looked at? You like this? Who likes it? Who doesn't like it? Who think it sucks? Who'd kill to get it?
Maybe people walking away from $2 million. I can't believe it.
Huh?
People walking away from $2 million profit.
So they're walking away from $2 million. Is that how you see it?
Yeah.
Who sees $2 million profit in this? Ain't $2 million profit in this. You're forgetting all them other costs along the way. A, cost of raising the money to begin with. B, cost of holding it and paying interest while you've got the money. C, the cost overruns that almost always happen because Murphy does live in Orlando. D, the cost of selling these units when it comes time to sell them. E, the hedge factor, the Murphy factor that comes into play here. And this is, of course, assuming that it's even worth $5 million and that we'll sell out for that. Personally, I think paying too much for it. Yep.
What do timeshares 4-bedroom go for in that area?
Okay, well, timeshares is a different animal now.
Yeah, that's the other approach.
If we can convert this to timeshares, all this is irrelevant. It's a cash cow. I mean, a real cash cow.
It's zoned for timeshares, and you can actually split these units up, and you get 40 units out of them instead of the 20.
And obviously, I do everything I can to push it to that end, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. But don't we have to buy this assuming that's not going to happen?
Yeah.
Okay. What these are worth as timeshares, I do not know.
Well, I've done the calculations on that, actually.
What? Well, you're not going to sell it, though.
If you sell them as timeshares, you can get about $10,000 a week on them. And that'll get you
what's that come out to?
$520,000 per unit. That's about $20,800,000. Now it's going to cost you about 50 to 60% to sell them as timeshares because your sales and marketing costs are pretty high.
They are, and I can tell you right now, you can get more than $10,000 a week out of a timeshare in Orlando.
I'm being very conservative.
Yeah, but these are big timeshares. Yeah. I don't know. You know, that's all on the due diligence. You know, I want to know that I can buy this thing and convert it to condos and make money on it. And I'd like to know that I could buy it and rent it out as apartments and make money on it. Or just leave it as a hotel. In other words, the more exits I got, the better I feel about it for sure. But remember, it's already approved and the work is done for condos. It can be kind of a shame to waste that. What's the problem with selling condos? The time, the real estate commissions, the fees, the escrow amount that you have to put in escrow until the time goes by. What else? That's not even the biggest problem. What's the biggest problem if you sell these off as condos? You kill a goose that laid a golden egg. You only get to sell them once. I wonder how much money you would make on this compared to putting this thing back as rentable units and keeping it right outside of Disney World. In one of the hottest cities, no pun intended, in the United States. And one of the biggest tourist traps in the country. I mean, I don't know. But I'd find out before I bought it, I can tell you that. Because I can tell you, these are larger than normal units. Well, it sounds like they have been converted already, but I'm telling you, I would look heavily at this as apartments first. And maybe it don't make sense, I don't know. But I'm talking about weekly rentals perhaps. Or maybe even go back to the hotel. I wonder what the income would be on this as a hotel, for example. Can you just see the advertising? Huge 1,728 suites, only $289 a night, just outside of Disney World. And these are what, 4 bedrooms?
4 bedroom.
4 bedroom suites. Forget that. $489 a night. Well, that's what? You 4-bedroom suites or you rent 4 rooms? Same thing. Yeah.
Ron, how about turning it into the condo hotel where you sell the room, but you get 50% of the proceeds?
I don't know, because I'm exploring that. You brought that up. That's kind of a cool idea. That's going on. You take a hotel room and you sell it. And then you rent it back to the hotel. And then you get cash flow from it. I don't know. I have to look at them numbers. It sounds pretty neat. Okay. We got to figure out how we're going to buy it, though, don't we? All right, you guys work on this one for a couple of minutes. First of all, I've already told you, I'm not going to pay him what he's asking. Because it ain't low-hanging fruit. And remember that $5 million now is if it's sold as condos. It probably ain't worth that as a hotel. Anybody know what hotels are? Rock, do you know what hotels are averaging per square foot value? I know it depends on where they're at, but no. And worst of all, he wants cash.
He's got 5 or 6 people. We're looking to make offers on it right now as we speak. So he's not real motivated.
I think I probably heard that on every single property I ever bought. Just for the record, it's all crap. In other words, every time somebody inquires about the property, now all of a sudden they're about to make an offer on it. It's amazing. And you'll learn this. You really will. It's amazing. If all these people are out here making offers, how come none of them ever do? Can't tell you how many properties that I bought in my life where there was a bunch of people making offers on them. I go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks later and it's still sitting there. Well, what happened to those offers everybody was making? See, when it comes time for the rubber to meet the road, money talks, bullshit walks.
Single story, double story?
2-story.
2-story.
2 buildings.
2 buildings. How many acres? How much land?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, I'd want to know that.
Swimming pool, tennis court, clubhouse, huge clubhouse.
Really? I didn't know that. I want to know if there's any extra acreage.
And each unit has a 300 square foot garage as well.
Oh, that's cool. Now all of a sudden my value is getting better and better and better. A 300 square foot garage for each unit. Yes, there's a pool and a tennis court. We got our own little community here. Our own little Mickey Mouse Club. All right. You can go ahead and take a seat and we'll see what somebody else wants to offer on it. Who wants to do it? Oh, Kimberly wants to do it. Very brave of you. Huh? Is this kind of a easier to tolerate project for most of you to start working on than these $50 million deals we've been talking about? Yeah. Would you sleep better at night? Huh? Okay, what you want to do?
I'd offer $1.8 million.
You'd offer 1.8? You going to give him his 500 or not? He's asking 2.7, you know.
No. I would, my question on that was, you said that he would get that money once the repairs are done?
Yeah, so in other words, you want to offer him $1.8 million and let him keep his $500,000, so he's really getting 2.3. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not giving him the 2.3, but yes, he'll get his 500.
Well, I understand. You're giving him 1.8.
Yes.
All right. Well, that's fair. How are you going to pay it to him?
I'm going to get a hard money loan.
For the whole thing?
Yeah, for as much as I can. I can get more than that.
You're going to borrow as much as you can, is what you're saying. All right. Which means it's got to appraise for, by the way, is this one at 50% LTV? This ain't vacant land. You can get more than 50. You can get 60, 65% on this thing. So you can borrow more. Okay? It does need repairs, but she's going to have to borrow enough to get it repaired at the same time. She needs to borrow about 2.5, doesn't she? So if it does appraise for $5 million, should that be a problem? No. So in other words, you just want to give him cash. Do our census tell us that's about the only thing he's going to want to look at anyway? All right. So hey, if you want to get this bought, how can we tell the seller that we're serious, and that if he takes our offer, it'll close? And how can we look worthy?
Big EMT.
What's your LOI going to say? You're writing up your LOI.
Okay, well, we know there's repairs, and we're confident we know kind of how much there are, so I don't think you need a whole heck of a lot of time for your due diligence, so I'd say 30 days.
What is the due diligence list that we have to do on this property? 1, we want to figure out what the repairs really cost. 2, we want to make sure our condo conversion's a real deal, right? And what all the ramifications of that are, and what they'll sell for. What else?
Phase 1.
Phase 1. Title, of course. You really think you can get that done in 30 days?
How about I do 30 and then do the extension of 30 days
I'm telling
for
you,
any of
it'll
those single things?
Okay, well, I'm telling you, it'll probably take you 30 days just to get contractors to give you estimates. And by the way, does $500,000 sound like a lot of rehab on this small building, these small buildings? Yeah, it probably does. In other words, he's probably got estimates from Sears or wherever that you can probably beat the heck out of, but we don't know that yet. Depends on what the hurricane damaged. What do hurricanes usually damage? Roofs. What are roofs made out of?
That was
Plywood and shingles.
That was a number from the insurance guy, though.
That's a number from the insurance guy. That's great. That's great. So how much is it going to cost to fix this thing? About $250,000. But we're going to assume it's $500,000 until we prove differently. But we feel good about it already, don't we? It's probably going to be less. And of course, we don't know how much damage has been done because the water's coming through the roof and dripping down in the walls, and if it's got mold in it or any of that stuff yet. But an inspection will tell us all that, won't it? Okie dokie. So your offer is simple. $1.8 million cash, 60 days due diligence, 30 days to close. How big of a deposit?
I'd try to get his attention and start at 100.
You really would. Okay, would you put up the 100? You would? Okay. I'm not going to argue with you about that because she's right. How many of these other people that are jerking this chain are going to offer a $100,000 earnest money deposit? Remember, it's not at risk. It just as well be sitting in an escrow account as sitting in your bank. At least it's accomplishing something in an escrow account. And so you got 60 and 30, $100 deposit, $100,000 deposit. Well, shoot, there isn't anything much else to talk about here, then, is there?
And then I'd go after the timeshares as hard as you can. And then I don't think you need a 300 square foot garage for your timeshare, so I'd figure out something to do with that. Like a
Why not?
rent out storage. Or
You don't think people in Disney, 10 miles from Disney, are going to have cars?
They don't need a garage, though. They have a rental car. What do they want a garage for?
I guess you got a point there. Well, I guess you.
I've stayed in timeshares. I've never had a garage. I've never expected one or needed one.
Okay. So you're going to try to make some more income on this by doing something with the garages.
Yes.
I won't argue that. How can I argue that? Can't argue that. Okay. Well, very good. Nice job. Thank you. She did good.